My sister lived a luxury life on my $36,000 while mocking me. So I exposed her fraud at a family meeting. My name is William, and for the longest time, I thought being the reliable one was a badge of honor. I'm 27 now, working as a software developer down here in Austin, Texas. It's a good job, pays well, around $120,000 a year, which still feels a bit unreal for a guy who grew up watching his parents count every penny. I guess that's why I've always been careful, you know? My apartment isn't fancy, just a clean one-bedroom. My car is a 2018 Honda Civic I bought used. I named her Ada, after Ada Lovelace. Yeah, I'm that kind of nerd. I save, I invest, I try to be smart. I thought that was the right way to live. My family, though, we're a bit different. I'm the awkward middle child. Straight A's, build computers for fun, always picked last in gym. Then there's my younger brother, Jake, who's mastered the art of flying under the radar. And then there's Emma, my older sister, Emma, 29. She was born sparkling. The golden child, varsity everything, homecoming queen. Life seemed to just hand her things. Or at least, that's how it looked from the outside. Emma and her fiancé, Ryan, with a picture-perfect Austin couple. He was supposedly an up-and-coming real estate agent, always talking big deals. She was a personal trainer at one of those high-end gyms, the kind with scented towels and smoothie bars that cost more than my lunch. Their Instagram was a curated fantasy. Weekends in Fredericksburg, matching Lululemon sets, rooftop cocktails, brunches where the avocado toast probably cost $30. They lived in this ridiculously expensive modern farmhouse rental that screamed, "We've made it," even though if you did the math on their likely incomes, it just didn't add up. I think a part of me always knew it didn't add up, but I pushed it down. Because deep down, there was this lingering feeling that I owed her. I remember this one time in middle school, a group of bullies had cornered me, and just when I thought I was going to get pounded, Emma, a popular high schooler then, showed up out of nowhere. She didn't say much, just gave them this withering look, and they scattered. She'd casually ruffle my hair and said, "Don't worry, Will. I got your back." That moment stuck with me. It made me feel safe, seen. It made me feel like maybe, just maybe, the golden child actually cared about her nerdy little brother. And my mom, she never missed a chance to remind me, "You're doing so well, William. It's wonderful. Emma's trying so hard, but things are tough for her. Family helps family." That phrase, family helps family, became a mantra, a justification. So, when the call came in January 2023, late on a Tuesday night while I was deep in a coding session, I wasn't entirely surprised. Emma never called unless she needed something. But the sheer panic in her voice, choked with sobs, hit me hard. They were 3 months behind on utilities, rent was about to bounce, Ryan's big deals had evaporated, and credit cards were maxed out. "Well, I don't know what to do," she cried. "We're going to lose everything. I need your help. Please." That "please," combined with the echo of "I got your back" and Mom's voice in my head was enough. I felt bad, genuinely bad. And maybe, just maybe, a small, foolish part of me felt a flicker of importance. I could be the one to save the golden child. I agreed to help, just a temporary loan to get them back on their feet. $2,000. She promised it was just until Ryan's next deal closed, maybe 2 or 3 months. I sent the money that night. I even built them a budgeting spreadsheet, a piece offering from my nerdy world to theirs. It was never opened. That was my first mistake, letting it happen. My second mistake was letting it happen again. And again. The $2,000 became a monthly occurrence. The desperate calls turned into casual Venmo requests. Sometimes with a heart emoji. Sometimes with a "you're the best brother ever." Once a picture of their dog with a sign saying, "Thank you, Uncle William." It was cute, I'll admit, but looking back, it was pure, calculated manipulation. And I, the reliable one, kept paying. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself Ryan would close a deal soon. I told myself they just needed a little more time. Meanwhile, I was putting my own dreams on hold. The down payment fund I'd meticulously built for a small house in Austin's insane market, that became the Emma and Ryan support fund. I had to cut my 401k contributions just to keep my emergency savings afloat. My gaming PC, my one real indulgence, was running on fumes with an ancient graphics card I kept putting off upgrading. I switched to store-brand coffee, a sacrifice my fellow developers would understand. And them? Their Instagram fantasy continued, funded by my sacrifices. While I ate meal-prepped chicken and rice, they posted stories from $200 sushi dinners. While I agonized over a $500 graphics card, Emma showed off a new $600 Dyson Airwrap. October 2023, spontaneous rooftop sushi date. November 2023, Ryan's new professional image polo shirts, while their water bill went unpaid. December 2023, a massive Christmas party with catering and a hired photographer. January 2024, Emma's fitness journey rebooted with all-new Lululemon and an overpriced rowing machine. My best friend Mark, who works in finance, told me I was an idiot. Dude, they're playing you, he'd say, but I defend them. They're just bad with money. I'd argue they need guidance. Family helps family. God, the naivete makes me sick now. 1 month, the request came marked urgent, followed by text. Hey bro, need the cash ASAP. Found a killer deal on an Airbnb for a weekend trip, but it expires tonight. That was a small crack. A weekend trip wasn't an emergency. I almost texted back a firm no. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. But then, another text came through, a picture of us as kids, Emma with her arm around my shoulder, captioned, "Remember when we always looked out for each other?" The guilt hit, mixed with that old, stupid longing for her approval. I sent the money. It wasn't until I finally did what I do best, made a spreadsheet, that the full, horrifying picture emerged. 18 months. $36,000. $36,000. Enough for a down payment. Enough for a new car. Enough for a life. My life. Then I started cross-referencing their posts. The gym memberships, the golf club, the Sephora hauls, the endless brunches. The numbers were staggering, far exceeding what I gave them, meaning they were likely still deep in debt, just using my money to fuel the fire. I stared at the screen, the neat rows and columns a stark, undeniable testament to my own foolishness. They weren't struggling. They were thriving on my dime. They weren't bad with money. They were experts at spending mine. And they never saw it as temporary. They saw me as their personal ATM, the nerdy little brother whose job was to fund their perfect, hollow life indefinitely. And I had let them. For 18 long, expensive months, I had been the biggest sucker in Texas. The air in Austin can get heavy, especially before a storm. But nothing felt heavier than the realization settling in my gut. Still, a part of me, the part conditioned for years to seek harmony and avoid conflict, wanted to believe I was wrong. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I didn't understand the pressures they were under. It took Mom's 50th birthday party to shatter that last, fragile illusion. Mom wanted a big celebration, something special. We rented a nice little event space down on South Congress, classy, but not over the top. Of course, Emma's first comment, whispered to Ryan but loud enough for me to hear, was, "It's cute, but hardly Instagram-worthy." That should have been my first warning. I'd spent the morning helping Dad set up tables, wrestling with the AV system for the slideshow of old family photos I'd painstakingly put together, doing the actual work. Emma and Ryan, naturally, rolled up an hour late in his leased BMW, another expense I knew they couldn't afford. Emma was poured into a designer dress I suspected still had the return tags tucked inside. Ryan sported his power realtor look, complete with those ostentatious Gucci loafers. They swept in like royalty, all dazzling smiles and air kisses, immediately becoming the center of attention. I retreated to a corner, nursing a Shiner Bock, watching them work the room. Ryan was already trying to explain some crypto scheme to Uncle Steve, while Emma regaled cousins with tales of their latest adventure. It was fine at first. Mom was beaming, Dad was happily manning the catered barbecue grill like he always does, and Jake was entertaining the kids. Just normal family stuff. But I kept catching Aunt Linda's eye. Aunt Linda is Mom's younger sister, the family's resident truth teller. She's the one who'll tell you if your haircut is awful or if your new boyfriend is a creep. No filter. And she was looking at me with this strange mix of pity and concern that made my stomach clench. Later, after dinner, I was clearing plates in the small kitchen area. It's an old habit. I'm usually the one quietly cleaning up while everyone else laughs and talks. Aunt Linda cornered me by the industrial-sized sink. "Honey," she said, her voice unusually low, glancing back towards the party. "We need to talk. About Emma and Ryan." I braced myself for a lecture about enabling them. I'd heard versions of it before, but this was different. Her face was etched with genuine pain. "I was at your cousin Sarah's baby shower last week," she began. "Emma and Ryan were there. They did quite a few mimosas." She took a deep breath. "They were talking about you, William. Making jokes." My beer suddenly felt warm and flat in my hand. "What kind of jokes?" Linda looked like she'd rather swallow glass than say the words. They were calling you their rich tech nerd. Said you were so wrapped up in your computers you didn't have a real life." She paused, her eyes meeting mine. "They said you were such a pathetic loser that you had to buy their friendship with monthly payments." The sound in the kitchen, the clatter of plates, the hum of the fridge faded away. All I could hear was a ringing in my ears. It felt like someone had punched me hard, right in the chest, knocking all the air out. By their friendship, pathetic loser. The words echoed, vile and sharp. But Linda wasn't finished. Her hand rested gently on my arm, as if to steady me. Emma was laughing, William, laughing about how you're supposedly so bad with money because you waste it all on them instead of getting a life. And she told Sarah and the others that the money was just tech bro guilt payments because you make too much for doing nothing all day. Through the swinging kitchen door, I heard it, Emma's distinctive, high-pitched laugh. She was probably showing off pictures on her phone. "My phone, my money, my life. That's not all," Linda whispered, her grip tightening slightly. "Ryan, he was bragging about how they've got you wrapped around their little finger. He actually said, as long as Emma plays the helpless little sister card, Old will keep paying the bills indefinitely. He's too much of a sucker not to." Sucker. There it was. The word I'd been calling myself, now weaponized, thrown back at me with casual cruelty by the people I'd sacrificed for. I must have gone white because Linda guided me to a nearby stool. I sat down heavily, my mind a whirlwind of every thank you, bro, every heart emoji, every desperate plea over the last 18 months. It was all performance. A long, elaborate con. Why are you telling me this, Linda?" I managed my voice hoarse. Her face softened, the anger replaced by a deep sadness. "Because you're a good kid, William. You work hard. And because I stood there tonight and watched them take 100 selfies in front of decorations you probably paid for, all while making fun of how you try so hard to make your mom happy. It's not right. It's just not right." Just then, the kitchen door swung open and Emma breezed in, already talking. "Will, perfect. Ryan needs your help setting up his new crypto wallet. He can't figure out the—" She stopped short when she saw my face, saw Aunt Linda's grim expression. Her smile faltered, replaced by that look of practiced concern I now recognized as utterly fake. "Everything okay?" she asked, tilting her head. I looked at her, really looked at her. My sister, wearing a dress that cost more than my student loan payment, holding an iPhone I'd helped fund, planning a wedding I was expected to contribute to, all while laughing at me behind my back. The ringing in my ears stopped. A cold, hard clarity settled over me. "Yem," I said, my voice chillingly steady, a stranger even to myself. "Everything's fine." She bought it, or didn't care enough to question it. She just shrugged, flashed a bright smile, and bounced back out to the party, phone already in hand, likely posting another story about her #blessed family celebration. As I watched her go, something inside me didn't just crack, it shattered. And in its place, something new began to form. Something harder, colder. The quiet tech nerd, the reliable one, the family ATM, he was gone. He'd left the building. And the man who sat there, in the harsh fluorescent light of that kitchen, was someone Emma and Ryan had never met. Someone who understood code, logic, and data. Someone who was about to turn their entire, fragile, fake world upside down. The drive home was silent, but my mind was screaming. The game had changed, and I was finally ready to play. The morning after Mom's party, I woke up before dawn. The usual Austin sunrise seemed sharper, the air clearer. The fog of obligation and guilt that had clouded my judgment for 18 months had finally burned away, leaving behind a cold, clear purpose. I did what I do best when faced with a complex problem. I made a project plan. Project, reclaim my life. Or perhaps more accurately, project, burn it all down. That spreadsheet? It went from a simple tracking tool to a war room document. I spent the entire Sunday locked in my apartment, fueled by too much cold brew, diving deep. Bank statements, Venmo histories, credit card bills I'd helped pay. Every transaction, every request, every date meticulously cataloged. But the real treasure trove, the digital smoking gun, was their social media. Emma and Ryan weren't just profligate. They were compulsively public about it. They tagged everything: restaurants, stores, spas, Airbnbs. They geotagged their locations. They posted boomerangs of clinking champagne glasses and selfies with overflowing shopping bags. They had, in their arrogance, handed me all the ammunition I would ever need. I built a timeline that was almost beautiful in its damning clarity. March 15th, desperate text from Emma. Rent due. Ryan's commission delayed. So stressed. March 16th, $2,000 sent from William. March 17th, Instagram post. Emma and Ryan at Uchi. $150 plus per person tasting menu. Hashtag day night. Hashtag luxury life. Hashtag YOLO. April 10th, panic call. Car insurance lapsed. Can you help, bro? April 11th, $500 sent from William. April 12th, Instagram story. Ryan showing off new Gucci loafers. Hashtag invest in yourself. It went on and on. 18 months of blatant, breathtaking hypocrisy. I screen recorded their Instagram stories, those fleeting glimpses of their reality that they thought disappeared after 24 hours. They didn't. Not anymore. I had a folder overflowing with their hashtag blessed moments, time-stamped, often just hours after I'd sent the money. I even wrote a simple script to analyze their posting patterns. The requests almost always landed on a Thursday or Friday. The money cleared. The spontaneous luxury posts bloomed over the weekend. Like clockwork. While I built my digital dossier, life went on for them, oblivious. That Monday, the Venmo request arrived. $2,000. Caption, rent. I looked at it, and I did nothing. Tuesday morning, another request. A text. Hey bro, did you see my Venmo? Kinda urgent. I left it on read. Wednesday afternoon, Emma started calling. I let go to voicemail. 3 messages. The first, casual. The second, annoyed. The third, bordering on frantic. William, what the hell? We need that money. Thursday morning, the text I'd anticipated. Are you mad at me or something? Ryan says we can probably get an extension on rent, but we really need your help. Call me. Time for the first move. I didn't text backwards. I sent a single screenshot. It was their post from the previous Sunday, just hours after they'd left Mom's party. A picture of their $50 brunch spread at some trendy South Congress spot. Mimosas sparkling. Tag hashtag Sunday Fun Day. Hashtag recovery brunch. No caption from me. Just the image. Their own indulgence, served back to them cold. She called immediately. I actually smiled. I picked up, affecting my most distracted, busy developer voice. Hey, sorry, swamped today. What's up? What's with the screenshot? She demanded. No preamble. Are you, like, stalking my Instagram or something? Oh, that. I kept my voice light. Just noticed you guys had a nice brunch. Looked good. $50 is a lot for eggs, though. Must have been celebrating something right after asking me to cover rent again. The silence on the other end was a symphony. I could almost hear the gears grinding, searching for a plausible lie. That was different, she stammered. Ryan had clients he needed to impress. Business expenses. Right, I said, my voice flat, neutral, just like the Gucci loafers were a business expense. And the spa weekend was for networking. Got it. Another pause, longer this time. Then, her voice hardened, losing its practiced sweetness. Who's been talking to you? Does it matter? Look, I'm having some cash flow issues myself right now. Might need to pause the payments for a while. Cash flow issues. She actually scoffed. The sound scraped against my eardrums. You make like $1 billion writing computer stuff. There it was. The raw, unfiltered entitlement. The mask slipping. Actually, I said, my voice turning icy, I make $120,000 before taxes, and I've been sending you $24,000 a year. That's 20% of my gross income. Want to do that math real quick? This isn't funny, William. We're counting on that money. Weird. I mused. How you count on my money? But just last week you bought a new Dyson Airwrap. Was that for clients too? Click. She hung up. Within an hour, my phone blew up. Ryan sent a long, rambling text about how I was tearing the family apart. Emma sent pictures of past due bills, conveniently hiding the dates. Then Mom called, her voice tight with worry. William, your sister is hysterical. She says you're abandoning them. They might lose their house. Mom, I said, keeping my voice steady. Did she happen to mention the $36,000? Did she show you her Instagram lately? I heard her typing. Then a quiet pained oh. It wasn't full understanding, not yet, but it was a start. Emma, realizing Mom wasn't an instant fix, went nuclear, calling everyone. Cousins texted, asking if I was okay. Uncle Steve offered financial advice. The narrative? William, the reliable tech guy, had gone off the rails. Jake just sent popcorn emojis. Then, Ryan pulled his biggest stunt. He showed up at my office. Our lobby is all glass and exposed brick, very Austin tech. He was pacing, trying to look imposing in his polo and khakis. We need to talk, he hissed when I came out. You came to my workplace. You won't answer. Emma's a mess. Rent is due. I pulled out my phone. Weird, I said, showing him Emma's post from that morning. A Lululemon haul selfie. Hashtag treat yourself. His face turned beet red. That's not. For clients, right? Like the $300 sushi dinner last night. Have you been stalking us? Ryan, I said, loud enough for the receptionist and the lurking security guard to hear. Geotag your purchases. You live stream your life. I'm not stalking. I'm just finally paying attention. He lowered his voice. Look, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. I know people. I laughed. A real, deep laugh. Important people? Ryan, I check your license. You haven't closed a deal in 8 months. The only people you know are bartenders. He saw security watching. Think about your sister, he pleaded. I have, I said, turning back towards the secured doors. I've thought about her $36,000 worth. And I'm done. I walked away, leaving him standing there, sputtering. He shouted, This isn't over. Oh, but it was. He just didn't know how it was going to end. Because Mom, in her infinite wisdom, decided we needed a family meeting. And this time, I was bringing my receipts. All of them. The fallout from that family meeting was seismic. It wasn't a clean break. Family drama rarely is. It was messy, painful, and in the end, profoundly liberating. The most immediate and visible consequence was the digital silence. Emma and Ryan's Instagram feeds, once a constant stream of manufactured bliss, went dark. The hashtag blessed hashtags vanished. The rooftop cocktails and designer hauls evaporated. It was like watching a TV show get abruptly canceled mid-season. But the real-world consequences hit harder. About a week after the meeting, Jake sent me a picture. It was a shot of Emma and Ryan's driveway, conspicuously empty. The leased BMW was gone. The repo man, it seems, doesn't care about your personal brand or how many Instagram followers you have. Ryan was now driving an ancient, sputtering sedan, a harsh dose of reality. Then came the eviction notice. Without my $2,000 buffer, their modern farmhouse fantasy collapsed. They tried scrambling, calling other relatives, but the story of the meeting and the $36,000 and the mockery and the lies had spread. No one was willing to be their next mark. They ended up, in a twist of painful irony, moving back into my parents' house. Into the basement. Imagine Emma, Miss Homecoming Queen, living in a basement surrounded by old furniture and Dad's stored tools. The daily tension, I heard from Jake, was thick enough to cut with a knife. Ryan's career, already teetering, completely imploded. The important people he claimed to know either didn't exist or wanted nothing to do with someone whose financial and ethical failings were now family legend. Emma had to get a real job, something far removed from the luxury gym. I heard she was working retail at the mall. I couldn't help but picture her, folding sweaters, the hashtag blessed life a distant memory. Did they apologize? Sort of. About a month later, Emma sent a long, rambling email. It was full of excuses, the pressure, Ryan's stress, how hard it was for them, and ended with a week, "I guess I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt." It wasn't an apology, it was a bid for pity, maybe even another attempt to get back on the gravy train. I replied with a single sentence, "I wish you well, but my decision stands." Ryan never contacted me again. The family itself fractured, then began to realign. Some relatives, mostly the ones Emma had lied to, called to apologize for doubting me. Others tried to play peacemaker, urging me to forgive and forget because family is family. I politely but firmly told them that while family is important, so is respect, and I wouldn't tolerate being manipulated or mocked ever again. My boundaries, once non-existent, were now carved in stone. My relationship with Aunt Linda and Jake became stronger than ever. They were my rocks, my proof that not all family ties are toxic. Jake, in particular, stepped up, transitioning from a passive observer to a supportive brother. Mom and Dad, that was harder. It's an ongoing process. Mom had to confront her own role in enabling Emma, and it was painful for her. We had long, difficult talks. She cried, I cried. There's still a layer of sadness there, but underneath it, a new, more honest understanding is growing. Dad, in his quiet way, showed his support. He started calling me more, just to chat about cars or the weather, his way of saying, "I see you. I respect you." It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And me? I felt light. The $36,000 was gone, a bitter pill to swallow, but the weight of obligation, guilt, and resentment that came with it was gone too. I restarted my house fund. A few months ago, I finally bought a small condo in a quiet neighborhood. It's not a modern farmhouse, but it's mine. I upgraded Ada's sound system. I even bought that new graphics card. And yes, I play League of Legends without shame. I reconnected with Mark and other friends I drifted from. I started hiking again, exploring the greenbelts around Austin. I'm rediscovering who William is when he's not playing the role of the family ATM. There's still a lingering sadness, a grief for the sister I thought I had, the family I wished we could be. It's a scar. But scars remind you that you survived. They remind you that you healed. I learned a hard lesson, one that cost me a lot of money and a relationship. I learned that self-respect isn't selfish. I learned that boundaries aren't cruel, they're necessary. I learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, not in anger, but in the quiet, firm knowledge that you deserve better. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but I finally chose myself. Has anyone else faced a similar crossroads? Share your stories below. Sometimes knowing you're not alone makes all the difference.